Hey everyone, I figured today I'd do a rather unusual um, movie review because usually I talk about the latest movies that are out, but I figured today I'd do something a little different. I figured I'd talk about Star Trek Insurrection, the ninth overall Star Trek film and the third film to feature the next generation cast, their second to last movie, Nemesis being the last one. So I can't believe that movie's like nearly 20 years old already. It's like I remember being like 11 years old when I went to see it in theaters at the time. So basically, the plot of Insurrection, has Captain Picard and his crew of the Enterprise E, investigate, the Baku planet near the Briar Patch, in which, Picard is kind of faced with like a moral dilemma, like if he should remove 600 of the Baku people, because Starfleet wants to use the metaphasic radiation, which allows the Baku people to remain younger, and of course, there's also the sonar, which are like they're like an offset of the Baku race, who kind of rejected the Baku's simpler way of life, and wanted, I guess, to be more technology advanced, and of course to also, you know find a cure for to stay for them to stay younger and all that. And I know that the odd number movies often get a bad rap because they're usually considered weaker in story, whereas like the even numbered movies are usually considered the stronger ones. I would say yes and no. I mean, yes, it's not No Search for Spock or Final Frontier, but it's watchable. But my biggest issue with Insurrection, it kind of felt more like most people would say, like a two-parter episodic feel rather than like a feature length film. I know the intention was to go lighter in story, after the events of First Contact, which at that time was the 30th anniversary of Star Trek. And me personally, I think it would have been better if they would have done more of like a Dominion War, storyline, like having Picard, assisting like the crew of Deep Space Nine, with reinforcements, or like something against like the Dominion, or or like maybe like do like a Q storyline, which I think would have been rather cool to see. Which was too bad it was one of the wasted opportunities not done, but I guess like they say, it's just the way it is. Sometimes even though it was an interesting idea, to deal with like the Prime Directive, and like does one like what does one do, like one faced with that kind of dilemma, if they should like stick to the founding principles of Starfleet and the Federation, or sometimes would they betray their values, depending on the circumstance, which I think could have been an interesting, darker storyline had it gone in that direction. But like I said previously, that's the way it is. I mean, well, it's not one of my favorite movies. I mean, it's not as bad as say the motion picture, but it's still, watchable considering I was born when the Next Generation came on television. I mean, but I will say, one of the biggest issues I had with the Next Generation, not the cast, it was just it kind of felt like the story like didn't feel like a feature length, with the exception of First Contact, and I kind of felt like continuity wise seemed like a little bit more out of whack than say the original cast was. But that's just the way I would see it. I would say, even though it's been like nearly 20 years since the movie's been released, I mean it's still still watchable, entertaining and fun. I mean, I just think it could have been slightly longer, because it's almost the same length as The Search for Spock was. But that's okay. So I figured that's my critique on Star Trek Insurrection. Eventually, I'll do one for Star Trek Nemesis, being the last film to feature the Next Generation cast, but I'll do that in another review. Alright, everyone, thanks for watching, and feel free to leave any comments of what people thought about it. Okay, thanks.